Okay, so yesterday I was talking about this whole how do you build with Bedrock showcase. And I had my buddy Chris. Chris is an AWS serverless hero. He reached out to me and was like, hey, Michael, how do I connect my Next.js application to Bedrock if I am using Next.js functions? How do I connect to my AWS resources? And he noticed that in an example, I was using a Lambda function, but he's not doing that. So he wanted an example of how you connect your Next.js application to your AWS resources. That's the crux of what his problem is at the moment, right? Now, here's my take. If you want to connect directly to your AWS backend resources, don't use the backend features of Next.js. Here's why. Let's head over to V0 and it's like, hey, in my Next.js application, how do I connect to my AWS resources? I'm going to go ahead and click enter here and let's see what it comes up with. I bet you it's going to say install some stuff from the AWS SDK like DynamoDB. And there it is. In a .env.local file, put in your AWS secret access key, put in your regular access key, all these things. Those are supposed to be temporary and short-lived, and we are making them long-lived by sticking them in a file, and then you're probably going to upload them to Vercel or Amplify. That's bad, not because of the platform that you're using. Again, if you put those on Vercel, I'm assuming that they're going to be safe, right? The problem is that on your AWS side of things, you don't want those to be long-lived. You have two different platforms and they have two different security best practices. Now, what a lot of developers don't realize is that this is an upfront decision that you have to make. Now, it's a two-way door. You can back out of this if you catch it early enough. However, you want to be aware of what you're getting yourself into when you use things like Next.js. You are effectively buying into their ecosystem. That's why you have Vercel AI. That's why you have file storage. That's why you have their database side of things. Essentially, because they wrap AWS, they have to come up with their own solutions to get the kind of functionality that a lot of developers want. So if you know that you want to use Bedrock and you know that you want to use the Converse API, use Next.js. That's perfectly fine. But then you want to buy into a backend framework that supports directly integrating with AWS. Something like Amplify is a really great choice with their JavaScript libraries. And then you can just create a Lambda function that is automatically configured with your AWS account, correct permissions, and they are temporary, meaning that you don't have to put in an access key or a secret access key. Everything is set up for you from the get-go. Now, again, this is not to throw shade and say that one is better than the other. It is simply an architectural decision that you have to make, or at least be aware of when you start to build out your applications, especially when it comes to server-side functions versus Lambda functions and the platforms that you have bought into. Now, if you like this and you want to see an example of a Lambda function talking to Bedrock using the Converse API, I'd be more than happy to put one together for you. Just let me know. Again, this is Michael Leando, aka Focus Auto, with another architecture solution. I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.